Alright, I'm back with the new Destiny 2 video. We know that we are one day away from a new Strand trailer, which will probably also come with a Strand blog, kind of explaining all of the different things you can do with Strand in detail, the keywords and all that. That is probably going to be Wednesday, when we've had our big Wednesday blog posts. I guess it could be after the trailer, but my guess is that instead it will be the following Wednesday, so we'll probably talk about the trailer tomorrow and then maybe the full blog the next day. Before then, I wanted to do some stuff on Lightfall prep. I wrote an article about this earlier today, which you may or may not have seen. There's a lot going on. It's Hogwarts Legacy Embargo Day. That's a whole other thing. But if you're just mainly focused on Destiny here, there are a few ways to prep the season that, well, similar to last season's, things are a little bit different this time around. I'm going to kind of go through these and expand on them more based on what I did in my article. One major thing, you can see my sick Heritage shotgun build here. I don't know, I was moving things around. One big thing that is changing is how the artifact works. So this has to do with bounty hoarding. And, you know, you can always bounty hoard. What did I complete? Something random. You can always bounty hoards, you know, for any given season. Usually, you know, you're going to get up a few power levels early. But the difference now is that you're not just going through the cipher here to unlock these things as potential mods. The change we're getting this time is that you are unlocking them as seasonal perks. So it's not just you will have the ability to socket these in as mods. It's once you unlock them, they will be active across your character for the duration of the season unless you respect them and change them to something else. So, for instance, once you unlock Unstoppable Hand Cannon, every hand cannon you use will be unstoppable. The end. Nothing else you have to do. So, while the process is the same, I would be surprised if this layout even changed. It might not. I think it might be identical. The difference is going to be, I think you can only have 12 active at a time, because if you could have literally everything active at all times, that would be problematic, to say the least. And I don't know if the tiers will work the same way. They might, where you can only pick, you know, 2 in this category or whatever. Like, it might be similar to the way it used to be before you could unlock everything all at the same time. That said, these are a lot more valuable now. With the way mods are changing, like we have a whole bunch of other mod changes coming to armor itself, these are just going to be perks that are outside of the mod system altogether. So getting these faster is kind of essentially giving more power to your character more quickly in a way that is even more beneficial than the way it is now. So if there was ever time to bounty hoard, it might be now if you want to kind of maximize your Lightfall launch pad there. In terms of like bounties to actually hoard, I'm not like the expert at this. I think there are a few websites you can do that will like show you the maximum efficiency. I just sort of go to a bunch of vendors and pick the weeklies and then do some of the dailies, and weeklies are obviously more beneficial, dailies less so. And then you want to make sure that once you do turn these in, I should probably do this now before I forget, you have the XP mod on your ghosts. You can also do it with a fire team for the bonus there. I never really bother doing that. I don't care that much. I don't know what I'm even picking here, but that is a key part of it as well. Past that, I'm in the helm because another thing you can do right now is you can easily focus any seasonal weapon from each of the seasons, because they now unlocked it. So I guess I have to click this to show, but they now changed it so I had this unlocked already since I've actually done the seasons to get red frames, but they've made it so every single vendor now lets you get one focused red frame a day from their selection of weapons. So there are 4 vendors in here from the 4 seasons of the year, and every day there will be a reset where you can have you can pick a specific weapon to focus. So that's, you know, 4 red frames a day every 5 days. That's a full thing to focus. This is for people who kind of gave up on the crafting grind during the season, or just skipped a season and you know, are trying to catch up now. This is hugely beneficial to you know, those who have fallen behind, and Bungie is realizing that's with, you know, sunsetting and these things go away, it's probably a good idea to just let people, you know, open the floodgates and get absolutely everything here. I'm not going to do like a full breakdown of the exact things to focus, but just really briefly, you know, priorities: love, peace of mind, great PvP pulse rifle here. Really like recurrent impact as a stasis machine gun. Machine guns are getting reserves buffs as well. I forget what I have on this. I think it's one for all. I don't know. I like it. This is a rare waveframe solar grenade launcher, which is very good, and it generates things like elemental wells, although that's changing to something else now. I like my stats for all, one for all, sweet sorrow. That's something I really enjoy. I'm not doing these in like release order. I'm just going around in terms of what's close. Plunder. This was the Season of the Ark. Both Tarnished Metal and Brigand's Law can roll Volt Shot. Volt Shot Brigand's Law is probably one of my favorite legendary weapons in the game. It is pretty nutty. None of these other ones really stand out to me. I think there are much better linear fusions than Sales by Pitch class, based on the perks it has, and this is, of course, getting nerfed with the other linear fusions. I like Plank Stride, but there are better machine guns. I do not like Blood Feud. I just don't like the archetype, and there are better slug shotguns. I would say the No Reprieve. Moving on, we have... Nope, that's not the right way. I'm getting lost in the helm. That's fantastic. We have Season of the Haunted, the Giant Crown of Sorrow. Wasn't the hugest fan of this season's weapons, other than, of course, Callous Mini Tool, easily one of the best mob clearing weapons in the game, best Solar 3.0 legendary, fantastic gun. Drain can also get incandescent. Both of these run incandescent, and these are your kind of PvP options for hand cannons and snipers. Really good rolls on those you can get. But the actual seasonal weapons, Bump of the Night is actually getting resurgence because it's got some good perks, and rockets are coming back into fashion as main DPS. If you get a enhanced Bump of the Night with some good perks on it, I think Frenzy, Vorpal, Chill Clip are the ones you can choose between. I forget, Tracking, Field Prep, I don't know, somewhere in there. Otherwise, I'm not wild about too many of these. I made a decent Explosive Rounds Tears, Hollow Denial. This couldn't get Volt Shot because Volt Shot didn't exist yet, and there is now an Arc 1 this season where you can get Volt Shot. Nezaric's Whisper. Think there are better glaives than this. I don't know. Nothing really stands out to me as a must-have here, though. Some people do have their personal favorites, of course, so no accounting for taste. Did I get lost again? No. Okay. And then finally we have the current Season of the Seraph, which again has some reprised weapons and some new ones. Volt Shot. Aquilos, one of the best legendaries in the game right now. Was always a great legendary. It's fantastic. I'm really enjoying my Repulsor Brace Aquilos hand cannon. I crafted a classic. What are the perks? Oh, they won't even show me. The punchy one. Crap. I don't even remember what. The punchy shotgun perk. You know what I'm talking about. Trench Barrel. That's what it is. So Threat Detector Trench Barrel is the classic roll I made for this. Fire and Forget. Incredible linear fusion with Chill Clip because you can slow, freeze, and shatter in the same burst. Linear fusions are getting nerfed, so this might be hit a little hard. Everybody loves Disparity, the 4-burst Stasis Pulse that can also kind of shatter its own crystals very easily with Headstone. Stasis weapons are getting a little bit of a nerf. They're not getting the kinetic buff anymore that they were getting. Path of Least Resistance, this is an interesting weapon because you can put Volt Shot on it, and then if you reload with the Amalon perk right away, Volt Shot does a lot of damage because it scales up with this being a special weapon. This bow is just whatever. I do like this glaive a lot. There's a new perk on this glaive that increases your melee damage based on ranged kills. And then Retrofit Escapade, this was nerfed based on triggering explosive volatile rounds too often. I think it's still pretty good. It's still a very good machine gun. I would definitely craft that all the same. So that is my brief rundown of those weapons you should be focusing before the end of the season. Other prep is, of course, vault cleaning. You all can judge my vault here, but I am very happy I got it down to 534 out of 600. It was like 590. I know I could do some further cutting here, and I don't need everything I have here, but I did save a couple of completed, just a couple completed red frame weapons, but I did delete all of my extra red frame weapons, because like usually when I get a red frame weapon, if I have the space, I just sort of throw it in my vault to complete it later. But one thing that's changing is that there should be some new way to get those materials in Lightfall that isn't just red border weapons. They have mentioned that. They have not specifically said what that's going to be yet, and yet that we know that it's coming. You will maybe, depending on your taste here, also want to finish out your transmog bounties for the season. Bungie has been releasing fire shaders, fire armor sets. I've been transmogging probably at least 2 full armor sets a season lately. I think we got something like 6 or 7 armor sets this season alone. And even though a lot of them were ornaments already, and some of them had to be purchased, others like the I don't even know if I did the Iron Banner one yet, but like the reprised Iron Banner set they brought back, and then the seasonal armor has been pretty much worth, I would say, transmogging almost every season. And then also we got the dungeon armor this time around with the cowboy stuff, so that was worth doing. I think I'm approaching 15 transmogs if you want to do the full sets. So that is just something that is, personal preference if you want to spend the time on that. But it's pretty easy to do the transmog bounties. Just run anything you want to run, and that's also a place where you can farm currency if you want. Well, I am no longer saving any red frame things. That's because I am almost maxed on crafting materials. We know there's going to be a lot of craftable stuff heading into next season, so if you don't want to spend a good chunk of early next season farming for the first things you have crafted, you can farm ahead of time, which I've done. I'm only missing 1 alloy. I think I could just go buy one at the store right now. I didn't mention this in the post, but we are also in a current situation where it is very easy to farm legendary shards. They have currently replaced all blue drops with legendary drops. Once Lightfall hits, that will change to blue drops being mostly glimmer instead of legendary drops. So right now, playing any PvE content really, you're going to get a ton of legendaries, and those each dismantle into 4 legendary shards. So there's no real better time to farm that. It's also a pretty good core farm because they'll sometimes drop alongside cores, or if you dismantle them, they turn into cores, or Finest Matter Weave, which might as well be a core. It's just more annoying to get. Past that, I don't remember if I'm forgetting anything else here, but I think that's the gist of it. Let me consult my article to see if I forgot anything. Crafting, transmog. Oh, yeah, I did forget one. Okay, so we kind of know what the new DPS meta is going to be in terms of some general changes where we know that linear fusions are getting nerfed, and we know that grenade launchers and machine guns are getting buffed. Machine guns are just getting reserve buffs, and I think that's mostly for... They're always trying to make that like the big ad clearing thing, like you want to commit to ad clearing instead of boss DPS. They're probably never going to be top boss DPS outside of weird non-traditional machine guns like Grand Overture or something like that, that's rockets. The general consensus seems to be that, a few things could happen. We could see a resurgence of something like Anarchy, because Anarchy has been confirmed to be getting the 20% buff, a rebuff from when it was nerfed a long time ago. So that could be part of DPS meta now. So make sure Anarchy is current power level, or rockets. There are a lot of different rocket launchers that are options for DPS. There's Gallarhorn, obviously, but a few surprising ones, like we know that Two-Tailed Fox is getting a catalyst that might be a third arc rocket, so I'm wondering if that could boost it up there. And then just a bunch of normal legendary crafted adepts, normal rocket launchers that might be good for DPS as well, whether that's Bump in the Night or I don't even know, Adept Hothead, which is my normal Hothead. But that is something to consider. Another big change is that they are buffing kinetic weapons in the primary slot, in the top slot here. So that includes any current kinetic weapons we have. So those will do more damage to all enemies. I think it's like a 5% damage bump or something over what it is now, and it is already bumped above energy weapons. So that, for mob clearing, sweet business, Huckleberry, but it is I believe it's a 10% damage bump that's happening for special weapons. So that includes things that are already pretty good, like Wither Horde and Izanagi's, but also, curious if Bastion could see, maybe some play as a permanently unstoppable high damage fusion rifle there. I'm not sure if that would be worth the exotic slot, but I want to try it out. Other than that, there's some perks getting buffed here and there, and I think there's a larger sandbox overhaul breakdown still to come, and I've heard that I think hand cannons and pulse rifles are getting buffed for PvE in the future, but I don't think that's launching. Oh, I also didn't mention this in the article, but I think it was Salt that was saying he just focused 104 of these and couldn't get lead from gold chill clip. I've had this one forever, so sorry, Salt. I was looking for auto loading chill clip, and I have one of those too now after very little focusing. So the focus is on chill clip because of the way champions are changing, where if you can slow, I believe it's slow overload champions to stun them, and then freeze unstoppable champions to stun them. So this can do both of that, and then combined with Solar, where Radiant will pierce barriers, this could theoretically be an all-3 champion weapon. So everyone is looking for chill clip on a lot of things, but especially this fusion, because this is a rapid-fire fusion, which will fire off the 2 freezing chill clip shots faster than anything else. So that is something you focus from Shax, which means a lot of Crucible. So good luck with that. There's a lot of other things changing with champions too in terms of different effects and stuff, but that is kind of the main one that comes to mind. And then finally, we can't really say anything about Strand now. Like, what are you building for Strand? Like, we don't have any Strand weapons other than, I think Quicksilver Storm is going to be converted into Strand because it's getting a special, so it's kinetic right now, but it is getting converted to Stasis, I think, because the Catalyst is going to give it a Stasis ability, so it would be very weird to have this be a kinetic weapon, but have the grenade end up spawning Stasis things, so it might convert over then. There's really nothing I would say we can do to prep for Strand, unless you want to just make sure your airborne effectiveness is very high, considering we're going to be swinging around all the time. I think airborne effectiveness is half the reason, or Strand is half the reason airborne effectiveness was made in the first place, because they knew that was coming. We've seen some of the Strand exotics, both weapons and armor that's coming, but I don't know if there's a specific way to prep for that until we A, know more about Strand, which we'll find out probably tomorrow or the next day, or B, just have it in our hands. So that is what I would say. Was this like a little cat or something? I've never noticed this one is different, but that's a good amount of stuff you can be working on now. A little more prep I would say you can do that will benefit you over past seasons based on some of the changes Bungie has made or is making. But yeah, if you think I've forgotten anything, let me know in the comments, and we can prep together in between all the other stuff we're doing this month. So thanks for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.